Hello! I saw Searching this weekend, and I would love to talk about it. This film, in a nutshell, is about a father looking for his missing daughter. I don't really want to say too much more on the plot because it's kind of a little mystery. But the gimmick is, of course, that it takes place, the film is played out over a computer monitor. Basically, you're following the dad searching for the girl via her social media accounts and all pictures and messages and emails and music, stuff like that. So that's kind of the core of the movie, is this a mystery set inside this computer where the guy's got to do some research. This film feels revolutionary in the best way. I just loved it. And I'm probably going to be referencing Unfriended and its sequel quite a bit in this review, because those are the only other films I've seen that take place in a computer monitor, essentially. And the Unfriended movies I like just fine. I think they're entertaining, but I think they're completely relying on the gimmick of the monitor screen. They apply strict rules to the filmmaking style for realism's sake, to make you feel like you're just watching a screen capture of someone messing around on the computer. There's no score outside of some manufactured, like, humming noises, stuff like that. It all plays out in real time. It's very much just they're gimmick movies, and I like them for what they are. But this movie, yes, you're viewing it through a monitor, a computer monitor, but it feels like a real film, unlike the Unfriended movies. There's a pretty good score to accentuate all the dramatic moments in the movie. It's pretty much always going. It works really well. But the camera zooms in on different things on the screen. It pans. It does things, and it's chopped up. The timeline takes place over 5 days, so there's dramatic cuts, and it really strings together nicely. And I was just blown away at them being able to put something like this together with the medium of just looking at a computer screen. I was blown away. It was fantastic. But more than just being a film that pulls off this unique filmmaking style nearly perfectly, in my opinion, more than that, it's a movie it's a film with a theme, and one that resonated particularly well with me. And maybe I might rate it higher than some people if you didn't have the same life experience I've had. But essentially the theme is growing up with technology, how big of a part of computers are and other technology is in people's lives. It opens on the family unboxing their first, or booting up their first computer, and they're just so excited to have a computer and explore the possibilities with it. And I remember the same thing happened with my family. We got our Windows 98, and we were just blown away, and it was just this thing we all coveted in the house. But the film, it spans years in the first 10 minutes. It really reminded me of Up, the first couple minutes of Up, in the way it tells kind of an intimate, years-spanning story with just a quick montage that really kind of hits home for you. It really sets the tone for the rest of the movie. And it was just something, like I said, that was just unbelievable to me that they pulled off with this kind of format. But yeah, enough about the format. The story itself is great. It plays off like a real film. Like Unfriended, you kind of know what's going to happen over the course of 90 minutes, just real time watching a monitor. But in this movie, they use, just by looking at a flat monitor, they use angles and camera movements and score punctuations to just create a riveting journey. It's a thriller, essentially, kind of a mystery. And the way it unfolds, there's so many twists and turns in this story. It was really riveting stuff, and it kept me thoroughly engaged. There are a couple moments where it fizzles, and just right on the cusp of me thinking, man, I'm kind of bored. Before bored even gets out of your mouth, something else happens. Some twist happens, and it just keeps going. It just keeps going until the last couple minutes. And a lot of thrillers live and die by that reveal. Every thriller does. Most thrillers I see have a great opening, at least, and usually a great build-up, and then sometimes it's disappointing at the end, and the reveal kind of ruins the whole journey. But this movie had a really satisfying conclusion, and told just so uniquely that it added a little extra something, I think. But anyway, getting back to the theme I mentioned about living your lives online or on computers, technology in general. It's a theme that I think is going to resonate really well with, of course, people today that have usually around my age probably, that kind of, like I mentioned, that grew up your first computer and just the evolution of technology through to this point in your life, and how huge of a role it plays. And it's integral to the plot that the dad has to realize this, essentially. And they say as much in the trailer, but essentially he doesn't know his daughter as well as he thought. And so her life is more open to everyone online than it was to her own father. And he's realizing this, and the movie is him looking through all of her social media and her different accounts, and trying to piece together this mystery that he didn't even know. He didn't know a thing about, because he's not in touch with his daughter. It's just a really unique, timely way to explore a relationship like that, and to explore the use of technology to kind of connect with your loved ones. It's not a tale that's gonna resonate, I don't think, with very many generations. Future or past generations, I don't think, will adhere to this movie as much as I have, and a lot of people have, apparently. But for me and a lot of people like me, I think it's going to resonate very well. And additionally, it kind of explores how tragedy alters the dynamic between people in real life. How they react to it, how their lives change, how they change with each other based on tragedy, and that's something that I'm sure a lot of people can relate to. Without getting into too many details, I definitely can. It was one of the things that really at the end really hit me. How all this tragedy brings two people that have been kind of separated from each other, or kind of distant from one another. How can bring them together. And it was a really touching theme to throw into this. As for negatives, I had very few, and the ones I did were tiny. I felt a couple times like the structure of keeping with telling your story through different technologies, different screens. I thought it kind of ached under the pressure of it a couple times. A couple times I had myself asking, well, why would you film that, or why is there a screen there? Stuff like that. It's a common complaint in found footage movies, and I had it a couple times in this one, but it wasn't so nagging that it took away my enjoyment of the film. Also, and I'm no expert on police procedures, but there are a couple times in this movie where I kind of like, I don't know if that's how the real police would handle that situation, or this or that, or so yeah, a couple times that came into my head, which kind of cuts into the realistic feel of the whole project. But it like I said, none of this was a huge detriment or anything. It's just a couple little nitpicky things that I was thinking about during the movie. Didn't take away from my overall enjoyment of it, which was very high. All in all, I loved this movie. I really do think it's a revolutionary film, and I think it's going to be kind of like the found footage genre when it started and it caught fire. That kind of technique of filmmaking I'm really caught on. I think this is going to be the next wave, honestly. With Unfriended had some minor success, but I think this movie is going to be the one where people realize you can make quality films, not just gimmick, scary movies like with this technique. You can make actual, genuine, affecting films out of it. And I think this one is going to stand above the rest for a while. This is the Blair Witch Project of computer monitor movies, I think, at least so far. Yeah, so I was blown away by the craft on display here. It personally resonated with me very much. I even teared up at the end, which is the mark of greatness for me. Maybe that's another film, or maybe that's another video. I'll get into that. But to me, if a movie can make me tear up, it's the mark of greatness, more or less. And this film did it. It was gripping for 90% of it, and in the end, it was really emotional. It tear jerked me, and I was impressed by the whole thing, every aspect of it. Very few negatives that didn't really matter that much to me. I'm gonna give it like a 97, very high. Second favorite movie of the year, behind Infinity War. I don't think anyone's gonna catch it, but this is a damn good movie. So I'll talk to you next time when I see Predator. Maybe that's next, or The Nun, something like that. I'll talk to you guys next time. See ya.